Ladies and gentlemen, let's Red Gaming Sitcom video. Here's, of course, the 28th of January, and we're going to be discussing the Steam Christmas sale deals, and they are pretty good, actually, today. So, first things first, we're going to be kicking things off with Saints Row 4. There is a demo of this available, so you guys can check that out. It's available for 60% off, which means it is $19.99. I've also done a first impressions of this game, so you can check it out on the channel. So what's the premise behind Saints Row? Well, I'm sure you're aware of the basic idea in that it's kind of similar to Grand Theft Auto, but this one is even more ludicrous than 2 and 3. The game starts things off with you being the President of the United States, and within just a few minutes, aliens invade. And then you are placed in a virtual reality simulator, and you can basically acquire superhero powers. So it's not like you acquire them in real life, you would acquire them in this virtual reality simulation, and you basically want to escape and stop the alien menace. And it has, of course, the usual Saints Row over-the-top acting, caricatures, and everything else that you would expect as a Saints Row title. So, is this a game that you are going to enjoy? Well, it's a little bit difficult to say. If you are more interested in a serious type of open world game, for example GTA, then you might find the humour / environments of Saints Row 4 a little bit out of your comfort zone. On the other hand, if you're just interested in just having a wild fun time and just basically destroying everything and just pretty much enjoying a game, then Saints Row 4 is a pretty good purchase. For the price, $19.99, you're certainly not going to be getting it much cheaper for a while. It's a pretty good title. As I said, check out either the demo or my gameplay videos for more. Next up, we have DeadPool. 75% off, or $9.99, which isn't a bad price. So, DeadPool is pretty self-explanatory. You are of course playing the role of one of Marvel's biggest heroes, the Merc with a Mouth, as he's also known. And you start things off in Deadpool's apartment, where he's basically pitching ideas for a game, and then you pretty much get to play out some of those ideas. Now, I have done a first impressions of this on the channel. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, even in the comics. I just don't really appreciate his sense of humour, which is fine, you know. I'm not saying his sense of humour is crap, I'm not saying he's a crap character, he's just not my thing. And so, that didn't translate well for me in the game. Are you going to enjoy the game? If you are a Deadpool fan, well, you'll probably enjoy the humour, which is pretty spot on. I mean, it's not exact, but it's pretty accurate. The issue for me isn't necessarily the fact that I don't enjoy the humour, it's just that I didn't really like the combat that much. It felt a toned down Devil May Cry, and I mean, maybe you'll enjoy it more if you are a fan of Deadpool. I mean, I'm a huge Marvel fan, I honestly am, but I just never really liked Deadpool that much. What I'd suggest is either check out a gameplay video either on my channel or just wherever, see what you think. I just thought the combat was a little bit repetitive. I didn't think it was a bad game, I just didn't think it was a great game. But if you are a fan of Marvel, and especially if you're a fan of Deadpool, and you've been putting off the game for a while, for $9.99 US, it's not a shabby deal. Next up, Sim City 4 Deluxe Edition. $5 for you, sir. Well, actually $4.99, but who's counting? 75% off. So the basic premise behind this is that you are, of course, a builder of a city, and you need to create the ultimate working city, create the infrastructure, the homes, the buildings, the transport, everything that goes on with it. It's one of the legendary city building and simulation franchises. Honestly, there is no demo of it available. The only thing that may put some people off is that its release was about a decade ago, give or take. And You know, if you want the latest graphics, you're probably not going to be too satisfied here. However, if you want a good, solid foundation, excuse the pun, a good, solid game, then SimCity 4 is that. It is a fun game that, in my opinion, that still holds up today with the best of them. Next, Dust, an Elysian Tale. 75% off, or $3.74. Once again, no demo available, but I have done a first impressions video of this if you want to check it out. I have to confess, I wasn't really sure what to expect when I initially loaded this game up. Sure, it looked nice on the art, but, you know, one or two screenshots doesn't really tell you much about the game. You know, does it stylistically hold up when you're playing it? Is the animation good? And the answer is yes. It is incredibly well animated. I'm talking like Torchlight II. It is something like Trine 2. It is really well animated. It plays well. It has an interesting combat mechanic. If you're aware of old school brawlers, something like, say, Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn, which was later ported to Xbox Live, you're going to be somewhat familiar with how this plays. It is a tight gameplay experience. It has beautiful graphics. The combo system is pretty awesome. Honestly, if you are a fan of the old 90s cartoons, if you're a fan of just relaxing and enjoying something that's a bit silly, but just plays well, then you could do a lot worse. In my opinion, it's a very fun game. At the very least, check out a gameplay video of it and see what you think. You can check it out on this channel. You could just type in Dust, and, you know, it may or may not appeal to you. I personally really like the game, but obviously it is a matter of preference. Next up, Godus. So this is an early access game. It's 50% off, or $9.99 US dollars, of course. I'm pretty sure this has been on sale at least once, possibly twice on the Steam sale, but regardless. Basic premise. Well, you play as a god, and you pretty much get to sculpt a planet, mold it, but you don't directly control the citizens. So in other words, you know, they're free to do whatever you want, or whatever they want, but obviously their behavior is very much going to mimic and to be dictated by what the hell you create. So if you create a hell on earth, well, the little chaps and chapesses are going to definitely mimic that behavior. It is an early access game. Honestly, I've not played it, but from what I'm hearing, people seem to be enjoying it so far. It's certainly not a bad looking game. It has a quite nice aesthetic to it. $9.99 for an early access game. You know, I think give it a punt. Maybe check out a couple of gameplay videos. As I said, I personally haven't tried it out myself. Maybe check out a few videos, see what you think, but it looks pretty cool. Garrys Mod. 75% off, or $2.49. Oh dear. You can also pick up Counter-Strike Source plus Garrys Mod, although it's fairly expensive. It's actually $12.49, so Counter-Strike Source is actually considerably more expensive than normal. So, what is Garrys Mod? Well, it would be unfair to say that this is something like Minecraft, because it's not. The basic premise with Garrys Mod is that you can do whatever the hell you want with it. It is a sandbox. It's a physics sandbox. So you can create various contraptions, working machines, levels, whatever. But because of that, it's limited to your imagination. In other words, if you're just expecting to go in, have a story, pew pew pew, or go in, multiplayer, bang bang bang, not going to be the game for you. Just don't even pick it up. If, on the other hand, you are someone who likes the idea of just doing whatever the heck they want with their game, then Garrys Mod is certainly the option for you. Bear in mind, this game does require that you own a Source Engine game. So, for example, Half-Life 2, for example, Counter-Strike Source, or you can't play it. Sins of a Solar Empire, Rebellion, as you could probably guess from the name, is a space strategy, but for now, it's 75% off, $9.99, and honestly, I really like this game. I say that as someone who typically doesn't really like space strategy games, and which is kind of weird considering that I absolutely love things such as Battlestar Galactica, Dead Space, Star Trek, all those shows. I mean, Farscape, I love them. I don't even know how many times I've rewatched Farscape or, TNG, but for some reason I just don't typically like space strategy games. But this one really did grab me. The basic premise is simple. You start off fairly small and you, have to start creating an empire. And it does work really well. I would actually recommend that you check out a video either for my channel or for someone else, just so you get an idea, because it is fairly in-depth. It's not one of those games where you're just going to jump in and say, oh, okay, cool, guys, I'm building a huge empire within 2 minutes flat. There is a learning curve to it. So check it out. It's one of my earlier videos, actually, so the quality is a bit crapper than normal, so you can check out our different channel if you so desire. But regardless, it's a good game. It really is. And for the price, it's definitely worth it if you're thinking of trying out a title. This type of title, rather. Torchlight II. Regular viewers are already probably just, going to mouth along with me. But 75% off, $4.99, and my god, I love this game. I really do. The basic premise is it's a dungeon crawler. So, you would be familiar with games like, say, Diablo, and it's pretty much the same as an action RPG. You get to explore a pretty big, large world. But the thing that makes this game really cool, in my opinion, is the moddable community, which I've covered a couple of the mods on the channel, so you can check those out just by typing Torchlight 2. I love this game. There is a demo available. But this is one of those titles that I can't stress how incredible it is. The user community alone is awesome because you get to enjoy things such as extra classes, HD textures, new dungeons, blah blah blah. But honestly, Runic have done a fantastic job with this game, and it's a shining example of indie development in my personal opinion. It won't be for everyone. Some people don't like the happy funness. I personally have a few issues regarding primarily the classes. I have some issues with those. But the game is honestly fantastic and incredibly user moddable, which is all about what being a PC gamer is about. Next, we have one of the more critically acclaimed games of 2013, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. 70% off, and that is $4.49 US. I can honestly say, before I go any further, this game requires a controller to play. Not it's suggested, you need it. In other words, the game physically, you won't be able to play it. So, I've honestly not played this game. And I'm probably actually going to pick it up in the Steam sale, I'll be honest. It is one of those games that I've heard many good things about. I've heard people saying it's one of the more emotional games they've ever played. I've heard people compare it to one of the best games of 2013. It is a strong, story-driven narrative, and honestly, it's not the best graphically, yeah? This isn't Crysis 3. This is not Hitman Absolution. This is not a game that is going to dazzle you with incredible HD textures, but it does look good. It has a strong narrative between the two brothers as they experience the storyline, and it has a very good control method as well. And when you play the game, you'll understand why it requires a controller, because basically you're playing as two brothers simultaneously. I would highly recommend that you would pick this up if you're interested in a story-driven narrative. Finally, I'm going to blast through the flash sales for today. As you would expect, there are a couple, and I'm going to just go for a couple that I've personally played. Everland, excellent RPG. If you're one of those gamers that has either an interest in old RPGs, we're talking like 1632-bit era, then Everland is incredible. It pretty much shows you the evolution of RPGs, and for the price, which is $2.49, is really good. And next up is Rage. I really do like Rage. It had some problems initially, primarily because of, well, the fact it wasn't patched and it wasn't optimized for PC, which meant that the graphics and so on were subpar compared to what they should have been. Id have, for the most part, fixed it. There are still some issues which rear their ugly head. For example, lower resolution textures than I'd have personally appreciated. But at least it's better. As a game, however, it's fairly solid and definitely could do you a lot worse. Anyway, that is it. So, once again, this is not the most exciting of deals, but they are pretty great. Anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the Steam deals. I'll see you soon. Take care and have a great day. Bye for now.